What you think you become, what you feel you attract, what you imagine you create. Buddha, at least, the only book you'll ever need on the law of attraction is here, right in your hands. For the past 2 decades, I have navigated my way through life, starting from the very bottom and working tirelessly to create a reality I can truly be proud of, a reality where I feel fulfilled, abundant, and in alignment with my highest self. But this book is not about my journey. It's about yours. What you hold in your hands is a complete guide to the law of attraction, carefully designed to help you unlock your full potential and create the life you deserve. Have you ever wondered how to break free? Have you ever felt trapped in an endless cycle, as if life keeps throwing obstacles your way, making it impossible to move forward? Do you ever question the best way to navigate challenges when everything seems to be working against you? Have you ever wished for a clear path, a way to create a life that truly fulfills you? The answers to all these questions lie in the law of attraction. Some call it methodology, others call it the secret. No matter the name, one thing is certain. As you turn these pages, you will discover everything you need to know to take control of your life, perhaps for the first time. To be clear, this is the last book you'll ever need on the law of attraction. You probably read online articles or even the bestsellers by Rhonda Byrne. While those books are insightful, I found them to be overly complex and deeply spiritual in ways that made them feel distant. They were inspiring, but they lack something, at least for me and for many others I've spoken to. If you're new to the law of attraction, this book is your step-by-step guide, packed with practical strategies that will transform your reality. Within these pages, you'll find years of personal research, real-life experiences, trial and error, and the highs and lows of mastering manifestation. This book is designed to save you time. No more chasing random self-help books, attending endless seminars, or seeking guidance from therapists and life coaches. Instead, you'll be empowered to take action. Everything I've learned in the past 2 decades is here, in one place. I have never found a single resource that fully captures how to make the law of attraction work for you in a clear, actionable way. So I wrote my own, and this is where it all began. To set the stage, let me share my personal journey with the law of attraction, the moment that changed everything for me. Because more than theory, more than abstract concepts, I want you to feel how this powerful force can transform your life, just as it transformed mine. I was constantly on the verge of breaking down, isolated from the world, barely any friends, or at least, I hardly ever saw them, stuck in a dead-end job. And to be completely honest, I hated myself. No, I despised myself. I remember one particular morning before leaving my tiny, messy apartment. I caught my reflection in the mirror, shook my head, and out loud I asked, "What are you doing with your life?" I don't know why I said it or what part of me decided to voice that thought, but it happened. And that question became the one thing I wanted to answer more than anything. But I never did. Instead, I kept my head down and worked as hard as I could. But no matter how much effort I put in, I wasn't making any progress. I did this for years. Then something changed. After 2 years of working as a land surveyor, I realized I was miserable. The company I worked for was awful, poor customer service, constant delays, a toxic work environment, and a boss who seemed to take pleasure in making everyone's life harder. So I made a decision. This was my turning point. I quit my job and took a leap of faith. I started my own business. Burning bridges along the way didn't bother me because I was convinced this was the fresh start I had been waiting for. I was determined to make it work. For the first time in years, I felt alive, motivated, driven. But as the months went by, I found myself in a surreal situation. The harder I worked, the less money I seemed to make. No matter how many hours I put in, nothing changed. My business wasn't generating enough income, and I was barely staying afloat. I tried everything. I invested in marketing. I made detailed business plans. I even started thinking about building a team. But plans are just that, plans. They weren't my reality. At some point, I had to accept the truth. I had failed. I couldn't keep asking my family and friends for help. The guilt and shame were unbearable. I was broke and deeply embarrassed. The negativity, the sadness, and the hopelessness consumed me. It felt like nothing would ever change. I was trapped in the same cycle I had been in years ago. And then I gave up. I had no fight left in me, no energy, no hope. My dream had slipped through my fingers, and it was time to move on. I know this all sounds dramatic, but if you've ever been in a similar situation, you know how exhausting it can be. And unfortunately, when life starts falling apart, it doesn't stop. When it rains, it pours. Bad things always seem to be followed by an endless stream of even worse things. I had given everything to make my business work, and I was left with nothing. I lost my home, my car, my money, and my relationships. All I had left was a small suitcase filled with a few personal belongings. For an entire year, that was my life. At 25, I was sleeping on friends' couches, never staying too long out of guilt and fear of being a burden. I know it sounds dramatic, but that was my reality. I was stuck in a cycle pattern of making decisions that always seemed to backfire. I worked so hard to save money and finally build a life I could be proud of. Yet weeks later, I would somehow find myself overdrawn, drowning in overdue loan payments. Something had to change. I was tired of feeling like I had no control over my life, tired of watching time slip through my fingers, and tired of constantly being thrown against the rocks of misfortune. Desperate for answers, I turned to the internet. Because honestly, what else could I do? I told myself, even if I don't know where to start, even if I have no idea what to do next, there has to be something better than this. So I started searching. I needed something. Maybe we're all just a product of our environment, and maybe that was my problem. So I thought, what if I changed my surroundings? What if I did something different? I didn't know exactly what I was looking for, but the first thing I did was sit outside a local church. I figured if everything is made of atoms and energy, then maybe there was some kind of positive vibration coming from that place. After all, people have been praying for centuries, seeking peace, clarity, and miracles of energy to pull me out of the darkness.